Good morning and welcome to the news review segment of the Power Breakfast Show. My name is Charles Odinga, and today I have quite an elaborate and vibrant panel with me. Sadly, it's a panel of gentlemen only. I believe ladies will pardon us on this. On my extreme right, Mheshimiwa Njogu Barua, Member of Parliament for Gishugu. Good morning and welcome.
Morning.
You don't seem to be feeling cold in Nairobi.
I'm good. I'm going to campaign.
Is it because Gishugu is near the mountain, so...
No, for me, I'm going straight to the field to campaign. So I'm setting the...
Quite interesting. Yeah. I have Jonathan Mweke, Deputy Governor of Nairobi. Always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
And immediately on my left, I have a Member of Parliament for the constituency, the longest name in this country, Chuka Igamba Ngombe.
True.
Mheshimiwa Mudomi Njuki. Mheshimiwa, good morning and welcome. Aspiring Governor for Tharaka Nithi County, is it?
Correct, thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the first time in this show, we have Governor Kajiado, Mheshimiwa David Nkadianye. Sometimes some people call it Nkedianye. What is the exact pronunciation? Nkedianye. Welcome to the show, Governor.
That's
and of course, to my extreme right, Mheshimiwa Yusuf Hassan, Member of Parliament for Kamukuru. Is it true what I saw in the papers, because I know you are affluent with the issues of the United Nations, that the UN has now declared being single as a disability? Was it just a joke? Or is it true?
It must be.
Actually, I saw the update on social media, complete with the UN logo. I wonder what that was about. Maybe you find out and tell us. But we'll be looking at the papers today, quite a packed day. On the Standard in the Daily Nation, they opened with the stories on NASA flag bearer. The Daily Nation has a story about leaders in all-night talks to salvage the NASA coalition. Opposition principals going to retreat to thrash out power-sharing deal ahead of the polls. Quite a nice photo there of people ushering in the Palm Sunday with jubilance and excitement. Christians celebrate the Palm Sunday. The story is captured more on page 3 of the Daily Nation. A story of interest is a bid to change election laws that has now sparked dispute. The story starts from page 1 and goes on to the back of the page. That is one of the stories, the back of this, the newspaper, and that is one of the stories that we'll be looking at in details. I don't know if my director could have the shot on the Standard, which is also having a story on NASA. We have actually not received a hard copy, but there you are. Why NASA bet is on Odinga-Kalonzo combination. And of course, there's a feature about the secret of Professor Wangari Maathai's 150 million shilling will. But that headline which will interest you most is the one on Taifa Leo. I don't know if... There you are. Sita kubali NASA wahesabu kura, asema Waziri Joseph Nkaiseri. Waziri Nkaiseri asema kwamba ni kinyume cha sheria na kwamba sheria hairuhusu vyama vinavyoshiriki katika uchaguzi wowote kuhesabu kura wao wenyewe. Unakumbuka hivi majuzi mwenyekiti wa tume ya uchaguzi nchini Bwana Chebukati alisema kwamba watakubaliwa kufanya hesabu zao, lakini hawataruhusiwa kutangaza mshindi ama aliyeshindwa kutokana na kwamba hiyo hailingani na sheria. Tutaangalia baadhi ya masuala hayo baadaye. But for now, gentlemen, we start with the story on the front page of the Daily Nation and the Standard, the NASA story. NASA leaders are down at the coast, the 4 principals, and they are burning the midnight oil to try and find a combination. Apparently, they are coming through the technical committee's report. I'll start with you, Mheshimiwa Yusuf. Do you think finally you people will lack something to campaign on? Jubilee have been all over. Hawana hata flag bearer. Hawako tiari. Are we going to have one this time?
Bado wana shida kubwa. If you see the headline, the word salvage ni kuokoa kwa Kiswahili. Salvage. It means something is terribly wrong with their own ability within their own organization alliances, that they're not able to agree on who should be the flag bearer. It has nothing to do with Jubilee. It is an internal crisis that is brewing inside the opposition, and it appears as if NASA would be stillborn because there is no at this late moment there's still no agreement, given the fact that in fact it is obvious that the person who is the most popular and the strongest is the leader of ODM, and so the others...
You use the word it is obvious.
It is obvious because he is...
Do you have some inside info?
No, but everybody in this country knows that if you put the 4 contestants in NASA, that the person with the longest political history, the longest opposition figure, and the person who stands above all of them is the leader of ODM, unless they are going to play positive discrimination. And in this particular case, the other three would have to make some very hard choices in the next few days, if that is the case.
Mheshimiwa Yusuf is talking like a member of the technical committee of NASA. Is it true that you people are trying to salvage your conditions?
No, it's not true. We're talking, there's 4 people who want to be president. They are all equals, have their own political support in various parts of the country, have held the opposition together, apart from Musalia Mudavadi, who came in later for 4 and something years. So why would you be so foolish to break up something that you have held together under very trying times now, when you're just about to share the prize?
Does that work against Musalia Mudavadi?
No, it doesn't.
Did Johnny come lately?
No, it doesn't, because they came in and they agreed between the 3 of them, Kalonzo, Wetangula and Raila, that Musalia is going to be an equal partner. So it's 4 gentlemen who mean just one thing, the best for this country. And since all 4 of them can't be president, they're going to go and sit down together, and they're going to decide which amongst those 4, of course based on some data that has been given to them by the technical committee and the coordinating committee, they'll decide which one of them is best to lead the country.
Is it a case of stillbirth, like he says, before I hear from the other gentleman?
No, not at all. We fail to remember that we have until the 28th of May to get a flag bearer. So I keep saying the other day, keep saying all the time, if KCPE standard 8, your child does standard 8 in November, why does Jubilee want our child to do standard 8 in April? We have until November to do this KCPE.
Quite interesting. Mheshimiwa Njogu Barua, why does it appear like the other side of the divide, the Jubilee side, is so preoccupied with the flag bearer?
I don't think we are so preoccupied with the flag bearer. I think we just care for this country. Because when 4 people who want to manage this country cannot manage themselves, cannot contain themselves, cannot identify among themselves with the strongest, whereas, like Mheshimiwa used to be saying, we know who is the strongest, is Raila Amolo Odinga. In fact, this is a game of musical chairs. The candidate for ODM has already been, for NASA, has already been decided upon. It is Raila Amolo Odinga. What they are fighting for, and I'm not a member of the technical committee, they are fighting for the second position, who will be number 2. This technical committee, I'm sure...
Is this from an insider source?
No, I'm an analyst. I can see what's happening. That's why I'm here. And I'm saying that what's happening is that there's a problem here, is that there was a Kalonzo Raila ticket last time. If it's retained again, and you have got Mudavadi and Wetangula.
We once had a Raila Mudavadi ticket. Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about this in this coalition. If you have leave Mudavadi and Wetangula out of the equation, and promise them a job which may not come, then you, of course, God, you'll be in trouble. What I'm saying in short is that what my friend is saying is not a still. It could be a stillbirth, but the truth is, even if we got a flag bearer, the center will not hold, and will not be able to conduct a unified election. We shall have at least 2 of them running for president come August this year.
Mheshimiwa Governor, any chances that the naming of a flag bearer in NASA would mean another candidate?
I've been listening very carefully. When you have a team like this one, of course you have people who really wish that things went awry on the side of NASA. So whatever they are saying is not based on anything apart from speculation and perhaps a bit of malice, because they wouldn't wish us well. But if you have 4 contestants, you have people with potential. What they've been trying to do is to get some synergy. They've been trying to look for the right combination. That is what they are doing. And I strongly believe that they will do that. Of course, in politics, you look at the ripple effect of any combination like these ones, the ones we're talking about. You look at the ripple effect, you look at the strengths and who brings what on board. And the right match is the issue. But I'm very confident that we are getting there very soon.
What are the chances that you will hold together? Getting there, yes, but holding together, like Mheshimiwa Barua says,
anyone,
the center will not hold.
Anyone, I mean, anybody can say anything about the center holding or not holding, but anyone in this coalition knows that if you jump out, then you're going into darkness. You're not going anywhere. So they know they have to hold together, and Kenyans are watching, and the whole NASA fraternity is watching. So I know they are very much aware of that, and somebody will be very cautious not to jump out of this.
I see you smiling, Mheshimiwa Mudomi Njuki.
You know, I'm listening.
And as you justify your smile, please tell me. Somebody was saying, I think it's your boss, Governor Kidero. He said in one rally that, why is Jubilee so worried? They should be proud that they are going in unopposed if NASA doesn't have a flag bearer.
First, I want to affirm to my brother, the governor of Kajiado, that we wish them well. Of course, we live in the same country, and we didn't want anything bad to happen to our opponents or our colleagues in this. We wish you very well. As in, Jubilee is not really interested in laughing off or being on the case of the NASA or enjoying the moments when NASA is suffering, as per se.
Are you honest about that?
I'm very honest about this. You know, we live in the same Kenya, as per se. And one of the reasons why you find us constantly commenting on this issue is because NASA blames everything on Jubilee. But one of the things you've left out on this headline, that there's an allegation that Jubilee has infiltrated the NCC for the NASA. They now want to blame it, their delay, because they are caught up in a situation whereby they have the same guys. It's like an issue of putting new wine in old skin. And after delaying tactic they have to announce their flag bearer, they will still come up with the same people that have announced, because a Raila-Kalonzo combination is exactly what Jubilee faced in 2013. There will be nothing new, as per se, but probably they want to maybe color it a bit and put a bit of pomp and color, so that when they announce it, it looked like it was really negotiated. But in the real sense, I want to agree with what my brother Jog Barua. This is it's a done deal, because it's a question of deliverable numbers. And even listen to the language in this case. Raila Odinga seems to be on the lead, and he should be the decided candidate. But the question is, how does Kalonzo convince his people that for the second and third time he's going to be playing the second fiddle to a coalition that he may again lose? How does he convince his big following in Ukambani that they are again going to be in the cold for another 5 years? That is a big question, and that is why as much as it's going to be not very good news to the NASA people, they want to make it a bit bearable for them by delaying it and looking as if it's negotiated and that we are all in peace, or whatever results may be.
One of the people from Mukambani is here. Are you waiting to be convinced that you're going for the second position again?
Mheshimiwa Kalonzo has said it over and over again. Whoever is picked to be the flag bearer is the one he'll support, and he's our leader. Leaders are leaders because they are followers, so we'll follow him whatever decisions he makes. We trust him to make decisions on behalf of the community. But Mheshimiwa Njuki says that we're going to be in the cold for another 5 years. I just want to ask him, I mean, how does being in government be in the cold? Because we're going to be in the government for the next 5 years. So I'm kind of confused.
It's a slip of the tongue.
What you mean? Yeah, it must have slipped his tongue.
Mheshimiwa Barua says that is wishful thinking. Governor Nkedianya says that is a slip of the tongue. So I don't know. Mheshimiwa Yusuf, which is it? Slip of the tongue or wishful thinking?
No, I think it is the truth, because as we sit,
it is the truth.
As we sit here, we know if there was an election tomorrow, who is going to win?
Yes.
Opinion polls. Opinion polls. We know from opinion polls.
Opinion polls in America said Hillary Clinton
we're not in the United States. We're here in Kenya, and consistently, and also the geographical layout of Kenya, it is very clear at this moment that Jubilee has the biggest support. And if something happens, I mean, there is no even a contest in the sense that if there was an election tomorrow, we don't even know who the NASA candidate is going to be. So it is a foregone conclusion that at the moment Jubilee has the lead It has the support of the majority of the Kenyans. They have already put their act together. We are campaigning very strongly on our record. As you can see, yesterday we launched Jubilee at 4, which shows clearly what we have done in terms of development for the Kenyan people. And yule aliyo na macho anaona, yule ana masikio anasikia. So we're not hapa si kupata potea as our colleagues are doing. But having said that also, let's look at the reason why NASA is not able to get a candidate, a flag bearer at the moment. It is not to do with Jubilee. It is to do with the internal dynamics of the opposition, that the other 3 weaker candidates are giving the leader, the natural leader of the opposition, a hard time, and the natural leader of that pack is trying to prepare them slowly for the eventual decision that he should be the flag bearer, and they're going to reach that conclusion sooner or later. The question is, what would happen to the ones who've been left out? That is what we are looking at. And already, if you look at, the leader of ODM has already named his governors. He has already appointed Evans Kidero as the governor of Nairobi. He has done that in Kakamega. He's done that in many places. He is already preparing his opposition lineup as the leader of the opposition and the flag bearer.
Quite interesting.
You know what Mheshimiwa is saying is William Ruto has been left out. Has he been left out of Jubilee?
No, that's not.
So how can you
wait.
How can you say our number 2 is left out and your number 2 is not left out?
Number 2 is not left. What's happening now is that in Jubilee...
But he's saying that,
in Jubilee...
that anybody who's not the flag bearer will be left out. William Ruto...
Let's hear
First of all, I'd like to, before I comment on that, I say there was a Raila Mudavadi ticket one time. Then there was a Raila Kalonzo ticket another time. Now we are hoping to get another Raila, maybe Kalonzo ticket.
That's what you're hoping?
That's what they are saying. The papers have been saying it. We are analyzing papers today. They are saying that the committee of experts, whatever they're calling it, 8 to 3, they are for Raila Kalonzo ticket. That's what they are saying. I'm not speculating. What Kenyans are feeling, and even some NASA people, is that this man Raila has visited 3 generations. Why is he sticking again to lose the 4th generation? Because he's going to lose again. The other thing I want to say is that the issue of Uhuru and Ruto. Uhuru is president and William Ruto is deputy president. Both of them have executive positions. Like Weke is a deputy governor of Nairobi. He cannot lose out. But the issue is when you get Raila...
Oh, that's a killer one for you.
Yeah, he can't lose out. What you are saying is that in case they win again. What you are saying...
I thought you meant he can't lose out because they are winning again.
No, in case they win, I'm saying that. Now, if in the Raila Kalonzo ticket, Mudavadi will be out there waiting to be given a job by Raila, which he might not do. The other thing is the same cause for Atagura. And the community they come from is watching. So what you are saying is that Kalonzo this time is saying, and I said many times, it is my time for Raila to support me. The truth of the matter is, and
he has also said, I will support anybody.
What he has said is that he's won the ticket more times than he will support somebody else. So statistically, he's just let me say about Raila Odinga as a parting shot is basically preparing these people for the eventuality.
The same thing.
In fact, he's just using them.
It's just repeating.
He's just using them.
Okay, it's repeating.
Then I'll come to
if I were Jubilee and I was very strong and I was confident I'm winning, I would not care about what's going on in NASA. And I would not waste all this time
for this country.
talking about... Listen, just listen. You know, we kept quiet when you were talking. I would not care. And I would go along my work. And I would say, whoever comes, I am confident I will win. The reason they are fidgeting, the reason they are not doing their work, they are just watching what is going on in NASA, is because they are nervous. They are worried. Because we have the numbers. Most of the country, and this is something we know, most of the country is with NASA. That is why they are worried. That is why they cannot sleep well. They want to know who is going to be who. Relax, you gentlemen. Just relax. You know, NASA has the numbers. Just wait.
Unfortunately, Mheshimiwa Governor, you are not Jubilee. And Jubilee has a different way of working because we care for this country. And we are currently in power, and we have a president who is a president for the whole of this country. And the reason I'm saying it is because when we sit here and speak about Kalonzo position and what Kalonzo says, that is Kalonzo speaking, and Kalonzo has only one vote.
When you speak,
I want you to listen to what his big following is saying. The other day we had a declaration in along Mombasa Road, where all the leaders in Ukambani said, if it's not Kalonzo, then we are not in this thing. And they said very clearly,
that's not
number one, Kalonzo, option number one, option number two, Kalonzo, option number three, Kalonzo. We were all listening.
For the record, this was not chanted. This was Mheshimiwa Vinyandeti saying option one.
All the leaders who spoke,
and not the official spokesperson.
all the people who spoke there in Kalonzo's presence.
Including Jonathan Mwai.
I was there.
He was there. He
So
never
you
said
say
anything.
He never denied it.
He never denied it. He never defeated.
What we said, and we had a moderator who's a very senior elder in Ukambani. What we said is, NASA has 4 principles. We are all being covered by one blanket, and every principle should pull the blanket to their side to try and ensure that they are following whatever, gets the flag bearer. And I said, and all the other leaders were saying, as Raila is pushing the blanket on his side, Kalonzo, push the blanket on your side completely, but you have to make sure you don't tear the blanket. That was the message that we were giving.
He has the benefit of having attended this function. None of us did attend, and this is an issue that it's a nut that people will still try cracking. But while he was justifying his case, Mheshimiwa Mudomi Njuki mentioned something about NASA blaming Jubilee, and it reminds me, just the other day in your county, Kitengela, I think one of your opponents had a rally, and there was a bit of an opposition.
Yesterday.
And when he stood up, he said he's blaming it on his opponents. Gentlemen, is there a time when you can be opposed by the public and not necessarily having been fronted by your opponents? Is it
Can I say something? Because
Please.
that was about my county,
Yes.
and that was yesterday.
Yes.
And actually that was quite unfortunate, because you do not push people to listen to your to whatever you say. If you have a rally, just come and have people come and listen. Don't push people. Do not throw tear gas at people. You know, that case that happened in Kitengela yesterday was very unfortunate, because one of my opponents was there, and some boys were just playing football, and he had to stop that to disperse them, because they were chanting NASA. Every time they said Jubilee, the crowd said NASA.
Did you send them?
I did not send them. I was not even there.
Are they your boys?
No, they are just people in Kitengela. They are citizens.
But,
you know. So how do you justify throwing tear gas at people who are just doing their thing? In fact, we want to ask the police and even the leadership, to not misuse power. Because how do you start throwing tear gas at people who are just doing their thing? And in any case, you cannot force people to listen.
Which is my question. Is it almost obvious that every time you, for you in Tarakaniti, if you had a rally and a few people chanted against you, then they are obviously sent by your opponent?
You know,
it's a good excuse.
I had one over the weekend, and it was in a dome tent. And my opponent, in the dead of the night, sent people with a beehive with bees and put them in a dome tent. In the morning,
you saw him?
Of course, it leaked out in the meeting that they had held, and we thought it was actually a bluff, only to find out it's true that they had a beehive, that was put in the tent. In the morning, we had to buy a doom, and I think it's just a syndrome of panic in this country. It's both in Jubilee and NASA, but I think it's something that the people who are really competing for this position should leave it to the electorate and maybe use very civilized methods to campaign and let the people make the decision.
Is it possible, gentlemen, you are not answering my question. Is it possible that you can go to Kamukunji and a section of the people don't want to hear from you, they will heckle and everything, without necessarily having been sent by your opponent?
I think that is obvious, that when you're in campaigns, there are people who use young people to disrupt, to heckle, and to break up meetings of their opponents. This is quite common in Kenyan politics, in particular in inner city politics like Nairobi. So therefore there are people who feel they're not able to win the public opinion, they're not able to convince the public on their own, and they spend a lot of time following other opponents and disrupting their meetings. And that you can't blame on the state. This is a political culture of a large number of Kenyans. Whether it happens in Kitengela or whether it happens in Kamukunji, what we must make sure, and also kuchochea, incitement, either in using ethnicity or religion, is a quite common method of political campaigning by many people.
So you still hold
it's not answering.
You still hold the thought that
it is not possible for a spontaneous action of you passing a street or attending an event and you are heckled for no reason whatsoever.
It is possible. I completely disagree.
This is not.
But let me say something.
Let me hear him, then I'll come to you after Kimani.
Yeah,
It's a hired gangs and people who are brought in.
Okay, Yusuf, let's give him a chance.
Yeah, I completely disagree with Mheshimiwa Yusuf. He's obviously not in touch. You know, people, we have two main coalitions, and we both have our tasks. I'll tell you here in Nairobi, in 13 constituencies, if Mheshimiwa Yusuf went and said Jubilee, here in Nairobi, people will reply NASA. We'll not send them. You can go to the market, you can go to boys playing football, you can go to the estates in 13 constituencies. So if he says Jubilee, they'll say NASA because those are NASA zones. And it's democracy.
We already have 10 constituencies held by Jubilee.
It's all right.
So it is not true.
It's all right. Let's just hear him. We gave you a chance.
Yes, but it's not true.
So it's democracy. People have decided whom they are going to support. Now, if I've decided I'm supporting NASA, and a Jubilee person comes and tries to force themselves on us, like you saw what happened to Mheshimiwa Uhuru in Wajir. Every time he said Jubilee, Wajir people said NASA.
That is not true. I was at that meeting. It is completely untrue.
They even say,
so let me finish my train of thought.
It is a lie, though. I was in Wajir. Nobody said ODM in that meeting when we were there.
Yes, it was even on TV.
No, but that was
it was even on TV.
Let me finish my train of thought.
Gentlemen, let's have
Mheshimiwa Yusuf needs to come here by himself so that he can talk all he wants when he doesn't have other people.
I was in Wajir.
Mheshimiwa Yusuf, you had a chance to speak. They were quiet. So let's just give them a chance. Everybody will have a chance.
So what I was saying is, politicians need to bite the humble pie, and they need to understand strategically which are their zones and which are not their zones, and stop blaming opponents. Myself, the 4 remaining constituencies that are Jubilee, I'll not go put up a tent there, force the Jubilee people to listen to me and say NASA. Of course I'll be chased away. I wouldn't say it was my opponent. I took myself there knowing it is a Jubilee zone. So we need to really understand what is your turf, what is not your turf.
Yes.
I think we finished because we started with you, and this is of course we are talking in reference to Kitengela. Mheshimiwa Barua.
Yeah, I think this is without taking a partisan position. If somebody does not support your ideologies, and you call a meeting as a politician, most likely those people don't attend. And even if they came and said, you shouted NASA, they said Jubilee, that is not disrupting. We are talking about people who come to a meeting and do all manner of things, including putting bees and using violence to disrupt meetings. Those people, those that disrupt, are actually sent goons by politicians from whichever side of the divide. This is not Jubilee, this is not CORD. When it comes to Nairobi, we are talking about Jubilee and CORD. When you go to a place like Kirinyaga, we are talking about individual candidates and their opponents. And they're using all type of tricks. Like now, the other day, what they are doing, some crazy, they're just saying, my opponent can come and say, okay, Mr. Baru is having a meeting here, and I don't even know about it. So people converge, then I don't show up. Maybe I'm in Mombasa. And that's one of the of disrupting, arguably discouraging the other opponent from progressing on it there.
Which makes me want to ask.
Yes. So what I'm saying is the violence has already been, actually, either we like it or not, violence is being used by many aspiring politicians to achieve their political goals. And you cannot wish it away right now, and people are taking positions.
It reminds me, in the last election, Mheshimiwa Raila went to Meru, and his rally was disrupted. Was it the people who didn't want to hear him, or those boys were sent?
Are you saying about last year or last election?
Last election.
Last elections, I mean, I don't really remember clearly, but I know of late he's been in Meru, and we listened to him. And I said, I mean, listening and votes are two totally different stories.
Thank you.
And therefore, that's serious.
And that's how things should be.
Mheshimiwa Governor, this issue started from Kitengela. I realize Mheshimiwa Yusuf Hassan got a bit emotive, but I'm happy he's a diplomat, so he's calmed down.
Yes.
Your take as we wind up.
My take is, this is not about goons. This is a tournament. Actually, this meeting went to a stadium. there has been a tournament going on for a whole week. There were these young men playing football. And they actually discussed and said, stop a bit so that we can finish our rally. The suspicious thing is, the police gave a license for the meeting, and they knew that that field was being used. Initially, they were to use the CDF grounds, and then they moved to the other field. You know, the boys were not making noise. They were just saying, NASA. Every time these other guys said Jubilee. The issue we are raising here is, when you have such a situation, it is unwarranted to have policemen move in and use tear gas. Because what we are actually doing is that we are provoking people. I think policemen even need to use people's skills. Talk to these young people. Because they were complying. They were saying, okay, we can wait until this ends. So when they were overwhelmed by this NASA thing, they decided to go into the field and start using tear gas. That is not warranted. And we really want people to desist from.
Thank you very much,
you should find out who had sponsored the tournament.
Precisely, in a short while.
It has been going on for a week, so it's not something spontaneous. It did start yesterday.
Sponsor?
Yeah.
We'll be coming back.
Yeah, by some people on the ground.
We'll be coming back after a short break, and I want us to look at this.
And none of them are looking for the
directive
of governor.
Okay, we are past that governor.
Yeah.
The directive by President Uhuru Kenyatta that governors pay doctors for the 100 days they were on strike. The Council of Governors is already saying it's going to be very difficult. So now they ask for money to pay the doctors. That's a story that has been captured very well on page 8 of the Daily Nation. We'll be looking at it after this. We'll be taking a short musical break. We have in the studio today Mheshimiwa Njogu Barua, Mheshimiwa Jonathan Mweke, Mheshimiwa Mudomi Njuki, Governor David Nkedianyi, and of course Mheshimiwa Yusuf Hassan, Member of Parliament for Kamukunji. For now, Carlos, the band, and we'll be right back.